Are you ready to get philosophical?
I fucking love this shit.
Beautiful listeners, you are worth all the stars in the sky.
Hell yeah.
And at least 2 perfectly cooked grilled cheeses.
Hell yeah. Does a bear shit in the woods?
Sometimes. He's been known to shit in a liquor tent. Yeah, pick up a book, losers.
Pick up a book, losers.
Welcome to the Based Banter Podcast.
What is up, my people? Welcome to another episode of the Based Banter Podcast. My name is Joey, and I will be your host today. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Jerry. And Jerry, today I have a wonderful topic for you, voted by you beautiful people. You guys had a chance to vote on several topics, and the voting consensus is in. And before we dive into the results, buddy, let's go ahead and get a little bit of banter out the way here. What you been into here lately?
Oh, man, let me tell you. So, wow. So, here lately, man, I've been diving into some video games. We had a previous episode about some video games talking about the, just like the overall impression of it has on people and the effects and impacts of it. And, man, I have been completely indulged into a game, and it's taken many, many hours of my life, and I don't regret it.
No, dude. I think I know which one you're talking about. How far along are you now in it now?
Let's say about 30 hours or so.
Jesus.
Into the main campaign.
Christ. Are you on Act 2 yet?
I am on the cusp. I've been looking up little guides to know where I am along everything, because I've gotten to a point to where, oh man, the game's wide open. I'm busted it wide open, and there's different ways to get to this next part. I'm trying to figure out how to get to it.
Yeah, man. You know, I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't look up a few things about that game. And the game in reference here is Baldur's Gate 3, for those who are listening, didn't catch our previous episodes and our previous conversation about this video game. Yeah, man, there's multiple ways you can go about that. The things you do in Act 1 leading into Act 2, they all make a difference. They all add up, dude. It's a beautiful game. And I think, you know, periodically, every week we do an episode, you should kind of give us a little bit of an update on where you are.
Yeah, so the episode that you're referencing, I do believe, got mangled up by some software, some sort of glitch. Whenever I say glitch, we ran out of room on one of the drives, but yeah, that was the one.
Okay.
That was the one. That's why I was kind of bringing it up, like a fresh idea this time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we had mentioned it in the music episode or not.
No siree.
Okay, well, my bad. Again, we talk a lot. We do a lot of episodes, and some of them might get airtime, some of them might not. We might revisit some topics and rehash them out again. And again, I think video games, anime, music, you know, even the 3-Eye Atlas, you know, some of the episodes we've already talked about, we've already published, some haven't been published. I believe we'll revisit some of these. Maybe give you a part 2, maybe give you an update, because these are just really fascinating topics that there's just so much to talk about. You can't fit it all into one episode.
See, what I can't wait for is that we get a philosophical update from you and be like, I just discovered Occam's razor or some bullshit like that. But
and also, news and information changes on a day-to-day basis with things like 3-Eye Atlas, you know, things constantly being updated. We might not have all the current information by the time you have heard that episode. Things with anime, there might be a new movie coming out like Jujutsu Kaisen. There might be
in theaters now.
There might be new stuff coming out, and you know, Solo Leveling is going to be coming out with another episode eventually. Mushoku Tensei is coming out with new season this year, and it's already almost over, or well, I guess 2026, but
this is your first and foremost site and for anime, so You heard it here first. No, anyways, what's new with you, buddy? How you been?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. I've been kind of in a little bit of a rut, not really taking care of myself the best way that I should be. Been spending too much time in the lab creating stuff. So I was dealing with a little bit of my own burnout here recently, so I took a little bit of a break from all of the creativity. Took a break from writing and keyboarding. Just been playing video games, relaxing, just chilling. And I just got a new video game on the topic of video games.
Okay, do tell.
So, with the Video Game Awards having come up, Expedition 33 swept the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And won a record-breaking amount of awards for any game at the Video Game Awards. And I've actually played Expedition 33, so...
And that was only made by, like, what, a handful of people or, like, 30 people or so?
Technically, it's considered an indie game, which is a massive, monumental achievement, and I'm so happy. Round of applause for these guys.
Yeah, seriously. Round of applause for the makers of Claire Obscure Expedition 33, because that is one hell of a game. I've managed to... I put in maybe 30 minutes into it at one point whenever I was in a rut of my own, so I didn't get to fully enjoy the game with the capacity that I'm capable of, but I can see it being... I could see it like being great.
Yes.
And the visuals are amazing. Like, and whenever you consider that it was made from such a small team, I mean, I was blown away.
For real, dude. No, legitimately... It is hard for me to say that they don't deserve all of those rewards because it's such a good game. And I played about maybe 5 or 6 hours myself. I personally couldn't get into it. I think I play too many games. That's kind of my thing. I have like 5 games I'm playing at once. And it was just one of those times where I was more invested in Mass Effect at the time. And I was just like, I can't do this.
He was on that Mass Effect tip, and he wasn't coming down.
But the new game that I got now was a contender in the Video Game Awards. And
Silk Song.
It almost won.
Nope. What is it?
It's, no, not Silk Song. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
And if you hear this in time, there's a sale on Steam.
Ooh.
I almost bought it myself.
Dude, I did. I actually paid that. Since I saw the sale, I went ahead and got it. I got some DLC for it because I play Kingdom Come Deliverance and fucking love that game. It's amazing. Have you ever played it?
Yeah, I found the first one on sale, and I think I got it and all the DLC for like $7. And I was like, dude, there's no fucking way.
It's so good. And the new one, it just takes the old one, polishes it up real nice, adds a little bit more to it, and it's just so good. It's even better. It's like they take a great game and made it even better. And it's everything that you want a video game developing company to do to a sequel. And they did really well. And I understand why they're upset they didn't win, because it is a massive game filled with a ton of content, and it's just so fucking goddamn good. I spent 12 hours just yesterday streaming playing that game alone.
How big of a development team do you think made Kingdom Come? Or don't really know?
I'm not 100% sure what the company is,
yeah,
but
because it's not AAA.
No, I don't think it's AAA, but I think that they're kind of bigger though. So
probably like AA.
AA batteries. But yeah, dude, it's so fun. I fucking love that game. Man.
Okay, so what was the burnout looking like to you? How did you realize that you was in that state? I mean, burnout isn't like the best term for it, because personally, but I guess we all experience it in different ways.
Yeah, I think for me it was more like just feeling lethargic, not motivated. The creative energy just wasn't there. I was bed rotting more often. It was lacking in my social interactions. Just overall, in general, just not taking good care of myself, bad diet, lack of exercise. I think I mentioned that already. That's a very big proponent for me. As someone who has been working out since I was 15 years old, my body needs to keep moving. I have to keep moving.
And somebody could hire you as a personal trainer, yeah?
For sure, yeah.
You are a professional in that aspect?
Yes, I'm actually used to be a personal trainer. I've managed gyms, I've managed Golds, I've managed Planet Fitness, I've managed National Fitness. I have over 10 years in the fitness industry.
And look, since we don't have a video element to this, he's actually jogging circles around the table right now, and you couldn't even tell.
I'm actually doing up downs burpees right now. Flutter kicks. Hold on, let me do 40 minutes of planks. But yeah, man, so I think I do have a future topic I want to talk about revolving around exercise for the future, and I want to get back into my routine, start taking better care of myself, and give you guys a bit of an update on where I'm at mentally before we get into that topic. I wanted to do that more recently, but I felt I would be doing you a disservice if I wasn't really practicing what I preach.
You're still not, buddy.
I'm still not. So we're
gonna get this awesome, excellent update next week, and it'll be like, dude,
yes.
I have hiked up to the mountains and back, and
Yes.
it only took me half a day.
But for me, you know, it doesn't take long. Like I've only been out of the gym for like 2 weeks, so I'm making it sounds like it's been years, but like
It's been months. He's put on 50 pounds. He don't look like the same guy.
I did put on about 30 pounds in the past 2 months, but that's my winter weight, buddy. I'm preparing for the winter.
That's how he stays warm.
But yeah, anyways, that's going to be a future topic that we are going to talk about at some point. The topic today was voted by you beautiful, wonderful people.
Oh, drum roll, please.
So, the winner of the poll is Placebo.
Placebo.
I was really hoping it would be magic. God, I wanted to talk about magic.
So instead, we're going to talk about magic today.
So instead, fuck you. No, so yeah, placebo. And what it means, the effects it has on the brain, basically your mind power and how your brain affects you and your physiology. And the many aspects of placebo that is utilized in our day-to-day lives. Some of it you know about, some of it you may never heard of before. And, you know, I did a little bit of research into this prior to this podcast because I'm very fascinated with how the brain works and how powerful the mind is. But before we start breaking down some of these topics, what is your fundamental understanding of placebo?
So I did a bit of a minor research into this to where I would be knowledgeable on the topic because I want to do this some justice, because placebo is, like, we don't think about it enough. Honestly, it's kind of like,
do not.
It's secondary, maybe even beyond secondary in our lives. But before I started researching it, dude, I used to think that, you know those crosswalk buttons that you press to trigger?
Walk now.
I had heard somewhere on the internet that was a placebo, that it wasn't actually connected to nothing. And then
Fake ass button. That's why they don't work half the time.
I mean, because it makes sense, right? You press in, you're like, okay, well, this is going to do something, and you're going to wait anyways. You're going to give it just that much bit of patience because you already pressed it. But come to find out, it really is attached to something. So thanks, internet, I guess.
Yeah, man. For me, my idea of placebo was more like products, like snake oil, right? Like a snake oil salesman selling you this miracle cure that's going to make your hair grow back faster and thicker.
I knew you were going to say that.
Or it's going to make you lose 30 pounds overnight.
Look, as the internet's favorite bald man.
This is Jerry, the internet's favorite bald man. He's polished and shiny just for your delight.
There's such a big-ass claim. There's so many awesome other bald people.
Dude, The Rock,
Vin Diesel.
Howie Mandel.
Anthony Fantano.
Jeff Bezos. What about Top G?
Look, even Hulk Hogan was bald, but he never shaved off the sides. Why not?
Is that still bald? What the hell is that? He could wear a baseball hat.
Yeah, you would never know.
But anyway, that's a placebo.
I don't think that's placebo. But
yeah, man, there's several products. You know, there's the placebo effect is a very real scientific terminology, and it is a very real thing that exists in the medicinal world, in the pharmaceutical world. It exists in your regular consumptions of products, like items, like, you know, that power balance bracelet that you were supposed to put on and it would increase your balance.
Gosh, who remembers those?
Dude, I used to have like a bunch of those. I was in on that. I was like standing on one foot. I'm like, look at this balance. Then I take it off and then I'd be losing my balance. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Does anyone else remember silly bands?
That's a placebo.
It didn't make nobody more silly. Nobody never wanted to know what animal or shape you were wearing, man.
Mine were always dinosaurs, so I did fuck with those.
Team Dinosaur.
Team Dinosaur, dude. Velociraptors all the way.
Could you imagine some dinosaurs doing some magic? Like a wizard dinosaur? Like, why not? Why has nobody ever written this book?
That's pretty fucking funny. Imagine, have you ever seen that TV show with the dinosaurs that live like normal people? And it was like animatronics.
They're animatronics?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, that was a crazy.
Wait,
some of them were animatronics, some of them were people in really elaborate suits.
I do know what you're talking about because they had a baby. And
yeah,
the baby
they had
was
a baby.
Like, not the mama. Not the mama.
Yes. Anyways, yeah, man, placebo, it's a very interesting topic. And I remember the first time I heard the term placebo, I was a child, right? I was faking sickness.
You were in the back seat of your mom's car. They were taking you home from the hospital.
Oh, no. We were at the hospital, dude. I heard it from the horse's mouth. The doctor looked my mom dead in the eyes and said, I'm going to prescribe you some medicine. Have him take 2 of these a day. It's a placebo. And I was like, what's a placebo? But anyways, later on in life, I eventually learned that that guy gave me a fucking sugar pill. And that sugar pill is supposed to convince you that you're taking medicine so that your brain physiology connects with your actual anatomy in your body and makes you, through some kind of weird voodoo science, you actually feel the symptoms that you're told you feel. It's all a bullshit lie is what it really is.
You've done some research on this. Does it work?
So, here's the interesting facts. Now, when you look at double-blind studies, which is considered the gold standard for pharmaceutical companies, whenever they're developing a new drug, they have to go through clinical studies in science, right? And they do these studies. They'll take a set group amount of people, and they'll use the drug, which is supposed to cure certain symptoms. And this drug will be distributed out to, let's give off a random number. We'll give it to 50 people, we'll get the real drug, and 50 people will get the placebo drug. And this is how they document the efficiency of the... Efficacy, yes, that's the word. They are trying to determine the efficacy of the drug. Now, here's the interesting thing about placebo, is that placebo will give the patient or the volunteer a positive effect 50% of the time. So you have at least 25 of those 50 people feeling the positive effects of the drug that they think they're taking.
How do we know this isn't the test to just figure out who's lying? They're just like, nah, you can't be feeling better. We gave you sugar.
Right. Well, here's an interesting story. So there is this story of this guy who was participating in one of these clinical studies, right? And he was one of the placebo patients. All he got was sugar pills, but he didn't know that. See, here's the thing you need to remember is the people who are on the sugar pills think that they are taking the medicine. And the medicine comes with these rules, like take 2 a day, don't take more than 4. If you do, consult a physician or call the poison control.
But it looks very official because it's in like official. A pill bottle and doctor...
It's prescribed.
It has a doctor's name on it and everything.
Yes. Yeah, and the reason they do this is to gather authentic data. Like they're really trying to accumulate real data to make sure the medicine works, right? So this one dude, he takes the medicine home and he freaks the fuck out. He takes more than he should and he starts feeling like he's going to die. And he calls an ambulance. They come in, they pick him up, they take him to the hospital, they start running tests on him. He's got high blood pressure, he's running a fever, he's in cold sweats, his heart rate is through the roof. And they look at the medicine that he's taking and they find out, oh, you're one of the placebo double-blind study patients. All you've taken was sugar pills. The second they told him that, he self-regulated.
He was just like, say you're fucking kidding.
He was like, so what you're saying is I'm full of shit.
So he self-regulated, and his blood pressure went down, his heart rate went down, his fever went down, the cold sweats went away.
So what I'm hearing is if you just invalidate somebody, that they can just snap right out of whatever the hell panic that they're going through.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Well, all right, listen.
That's gaslighting.
It's gaslighting, but there is
no, I didn't
real...
say something abhorrently mean to you. It wasn't mean, because if you look at it like this...
If you didn't think it was mean, it wasn't mean.
It wasn't mean, so you're overreacting for no reason.
Well, no, this is really topical.
How's that placebo?
Think about it like this. Imagine if I said, you're an ugly motherfucker. Right?
My feelings.
Yeah, I hurt your feelings. You start to feel depressed. But what if you didn't give a fuck about how I felt?
That wouldn't be placebo.
Well, think about it. When you start to feel depressed, it changes your mood. Maybe you'll start to have acne. Maybe you'll start to feel lethargic. But if you didn't give a fuck, you wouldn't have none of those symptoms.
The placebo would be if he was like, no, I'm just kidding. You're beautiful.
Oh, that's just a straight up lie. You ugly motherfucker. You look like my granny's big toe.
Because one of them is the medicine and or the hurting, and then the other one is the placebo, which is the nothing, the ephus.
Right. The interesting thing about placebo, though, is not that they're lying to us to like potentially take advantage of us or scam us, or just to do studies and research. The interesting thing to me about placebo is how effective the mind is at convincing the body there is a reality and a lie.
Okay, you brought up the ethics. I want to talk a little bit about the ethics, because this was a point of my research that I kind of clung to.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so let's just start off with just the baseline to where, okay, so how ethical do you think a placebo is? So where you're like, okay, here's this medicine. It is going to treat this sort of things. Report back to me. Like, how ethical is that?
Okay, I think there has to be some determining factors, right, in determining whether this is ethical or not.
I mean, okay, so you can get consent from somebody to be like, okay, well, but I'm saying without that consent, it would be unethical.
Let's create a scenario. Let's say you are experiencing cold and flu-like symptoms. So you go to the doctor, they run some tests, and they take blood samples, and they check your saliva, and they run it under a microscope, and they don't find any evidence of a virus or a bacterial infection. So you're still having these infections.
They're like, you're fake sick, so we're going to give you a fake pill.
Legitimately.
Is that ethical?
And they'll look you dead in the fucking eye, and they'll tell you it's a placebo. But here's the thing. Most people are not aware of what a placebo is. It's just enough scientific jargon for you to be like, oh, okay, I'll take that placebo. It sounds good.
This podcast is single-handedly going to destroy the placebo effect.
Well, again,
it'll never work again.
Stay with me here, because there is a takeaway for later in this podcast where we will reflect on that, because that's a good point.
Okay, so then there's also something called a nocebo. Have you ever heard of that one?
What the fuck? No.
Okay, so a phenomenon opposite to the placebo effect has also been observed. So when an inactive substance or treatment is administered to a recipient who has an expectation of it giving a negative impact. So this intervention is known as nocebo.
Right, so you think it's going to hurt you, it starts to hurt you.
Right. So you're just
no, for sure, I get that.
Is that ethical to give to somebody?
Well, I don't think that they are allowed to do that. I don't think they do that. Unless they're trying to create a symptom to treat, right? If they have to manufacture a cold and flu-like symptom to give you a medicine or something to treat it. Maybe.
Could you imagine a trial if they gave somebody a nocebo and a placebo and they're just like, okay, so...
You're just filled with SIBOs?
They're just like, okay, so we need to create this circumstance in your body to where you are making hives. This pill right here is going to make you make hives, and then this pill right here is going to make you treat the hives. What do you think would happen, dude? Somebody's got to have thought of this before me.
That's how I Am Legend was made. Everyone just turns into zombies. You're like, you're not a real zombie. You're just a fake zombie. Oh, wait. You're right. I'm an accountant.
I'm a dinosaur. Rawr.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, with it, when it comes to this whole topic, you know, again, I think the fascinating thing is how effective the brain is at convincing the body that there is a physiological change going on when it's literally nothing happening. Because, you know, anxiety attacks and depression and, you know, a lot of some of the mental disorders that aren't related to like hormonal imbalances, a lot of trauma, a lot of the issues that people deal with in their daily life that come from the brain are directly rooted in the brain. And placebo has been known to help deal with some of these symptoms like depression and anxiety. And that just goes to show you that if you can physically do this yourself, then you can actually treat some of these symptoms in-house without paying thousands of dollars for a sugar pill.
See, now you're on to the psychology side of it.
That's exactly where it is.
Which is another point of my research here. Because, okay, so the two main hypotheses of the placebo effect, which is what we've been talking about, are expectancy theory and like classical conditioning. And the conditioning is kind of like what we're talking about, where the pill bottles will look legit and you're conditioned by a doctor, somebody very official looking, giving you this and you fill this prescription. That's conditioning. You're conditioned to think that this is going to do something. And then there was a famous psychologist, Irving Kirsch, and he hypothesized that placebo effects are produced by the self-fulfilling effects of response expectancies. So in which the belief that one will feel different leads to a person actually feeling different. So in your own head, you're just like, this is going to make me do this. So in my nocebo placebo test, like, this is going to give you hives, like,
and then this is not going to give me hives.
Like, somebody would handle those pills with a lot more caution and be like, holy shit, like, if this falls into the wrong hands, they're going to get hives.
But how about this? Here's a little thought experiment for you. Imagine you are taking a legitimate drug to help solve a legitimate symptom, but you believe it's full of shit. So you go the nocebo route, and the amoxicillin antibiotic you're supposed to be taking, or whatever the fuck it is that you're taking to help solve whatever issue you have, you are giving yourself that negative input, and now you're creating symptoms that have already been treated, right? Just another aspect of the psychological effect that the brain has on the body's receptors and the sensors that it has. So I think that, you know, when we're diving into this topic, you know, it makes me think a little bit about some hoodoo, some of the manifestation sides of it, right?
Okay.
So you
do expand on that.
Yeah. So we talk about, like, if you want to be great, you got to think that you're great. If you want to have good luck, you got to think that you have good luck. If you feel like your life is shit and you think your life is shit, you'll believe your life is shit.
See, I have a fun fact for you on this. And this is about hypnosis of all things,
yeah,
right?
Well, dude, they've used hypnosis to cure cigarette addiction, right?
So Mike Tyson, before he won...
Oh, yeah, dude, I love this story.
Before he won the World Heavyweight Championship, he went to a hypnotist who hypnotized him into thinking that he was not only going to win it, but that he's like the greatest of all time. And that son of a gun went out there and...
Became the greatest of all time.
He won that title, man. He was out there doing it before getting lost in the sauce.
And that was a fucking placebo.
A placebo, man.
And it worked. It actually worked. And a lot of the times, like I said earlier, like 50% of the time it works. I think it all comes down to your own mental capacity and belief system, right?
So I have a question for you. And you'll answer it first. And then I have a question for our listeners. And I hope they will... reach out, because I want to know. I really want to know. So if you could hypnotize one thing out of your life or into your life, like kind of like how Mike Tyson hypnotized, like, I'm going to be the greatest. Like, he got someone to hypnotize him into doing that. Like, what would you pick, buddy?
I would like to hypnotize myself to have more self-discipline. I would like to have more control and disciplinary aspects of my life to where I wouldn't fall out of patterns or fall into patterns so sporadically, right? I do like living a wild life and nothing is really set in stone, but I would like a little bit more structure.
Okay. See, if I had to pick, it would have to be something along the lines of more control over my own identity. And we had an episode about identity, but I feel like there's times where I'm powerless to what it really is my identity.
Right.
And like, I guess what I settle for. But the placebo effect, if I can placebo myself into having that control and being who I want to be, man, be unstoppable.
You gaslight yourself, buddy. Just fucking do it. Just tell yourself, go look in the mirror and say, man, I am the shit. I'm the fucking best fucking version of myself, and I'm just gonna get it better, baby. It's only gonna get better from here. I look good, I feel good, I smell good. I'm gonna go out there and make the world a better place. By God, fuck everyone who gets in my fucking way. Fuck all you haters, fuck all you non-believers, and all those people who want to support me. I love you, and come on and get on this train because we're going all the fucking way, baby.
Yeah.
And even just saying that, dude, I can feel.
Don't you just feel so
my
hyped?
molecules changing and hyping me up, and the adrenaline and the adenosine releasing in my brain. There was a chemical release just acting like that.
So for for the people that can't see us, right, other than remote viewers, Joey has now started glowing and
glowing,
pulsating a radiate like he's radiating
Super
something.
Saiyan. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think that this whole idea that the governments and these companies are utilizing our mental capacities to either scam us or to trick us into benefiting us or not benefiting us, it shows me that they have an understanding of psychology in a way that is kind of scary.
I have one more note on the psychology side of that is it is tangential because, okay, so additionally, motivation may contribute to the placebo effect.
Absolutely.
And that's sort of what we're talking about. So the active goals of an individual changes their somatic experience by altering the detection and interpretation of expectation congruence symptoms and by changing the behavioral strategies a person pursues. So that is to say that if you're taking something, you have the motivation of this doing something, creating an effect. So then your brain will, through like a cognitive bias, find the things that fit this reality that you are trying to shape. And you can use that in your own lives.
Dude, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something that this is something that I deal with a conscious mind, proactively thinking about my own brain and how it affects my body. So have you ever heard of those people who say, oh, I never get sick, I don't ever get sick, and then they don't actually ever get sick? But they're filthy, they're fucking disgusting, they don't wash their hands ever, they fucking just, you're like, why the fuck aren't you getting sick? How are you doing this? So I'll liken that with my own mentality whenever I'm out and about and I walk past someone who is coughing or sneezing, or if I'm buying food somewhere and I see somebody who's coughing or sneezing. First of all, I acknowledge that viruses are a very real thing, and bacteria is a very real thing, and I do avoid that as much as I possibly can. But I also am aware that if I subconsciously note that I have come in contact with someone who is sick, I might in turns give myself symptoms of a sickness that I don't actually have.
So then you have effectively placeboed yourself into being sick.
So in that moment, I actively think about how I can prevent myself from feeling that way in the future. So I'll do little things like I'll hold my breath when I'm walking past somebody who's coughing and not covering their mouths like a fucking caveman. I'll fucking not eat the food that someone's coughing in the back trying to make the food.
So this is purely anecdotal, what you're saying.
Yeah, this is how I deal with my own mind, recognizing that the placebo effect is a very real thing.
And it makes me wonder, What this brings to my mind is how much power do we actually have over our own human experience?
Right.
Because if we could control that placebo, if we had that control, like what I wish I could placebo myself into,
Right.
dude, the limitations are minuscule. There are no limitations.
Right. Well, I'll give you another anecdotal story where I was going through a situation with my ex, who was talking to a really good friend of mine, and she was telling me this information, and it was like low key, and I wasn't supposed to know it. I was supposed to keep it a secret, but it was like some really damning information, and I had to go on a day-to-day basis interacting with this person, and it was destroying me mentally. I was like screaming into a pillow. I was punching it. I won't go into the details of what all it was, maybe in a future episode, but it was destroying me every single day. I was dealing with depression. I was dealing with this whole conflict internally, and I couldn't confront the person because that would change the dynamic of our relationship. And it was so confusing to deal with. So I had to come to this mental conclusion. And this is where the placebo effect comes in. Eventually, I realized I don't give a fuck. I really don't care what someone else is doing in their life, especially with an ex of mine. Sure, I would prefer the people in my life to be good people and to make decisions that wouldn't hurt me, but that's the reality of life. It's not all black and white. Sometimes it's gray. Good people do bad things. And it wasn't benefiting me in any way to go down these mental gymnastics, hurting myself. So the moment that I realized I had this control to stop caring so much about that, I stopped feeling depressed about it. I gaslit myself into not giving a fuck about that particular situation. And
So
the benefits I received from that was astonishing. And it's helped me to this day deal with a lot of the problems in my life.
So you had a reality that was subjective, but in your mind it was absolutely, matter of fact, like this is happening. And then you and your brain was like, no, that's not what's happening at all.
Yeah, I mean,
and then through
it was
that
all
sheer,
real.
like all of that, like conflict and the opposition to it, you was able to, I guess, finally stand on the oppositional side of it and be like, okay, no way. Reality isn't actually like this.
I took a mental sugar pill. It wasn't that reality wasn't like that. It was like I told myself it didn't matter, right?
Dude, I like that phrase, mental sugar pill.
It was a mental sugar pill. It's like how when people deal with trauma from their childhood, right? Like maybe you had an abusive parent. Maybe you lived in a conflicting environment and you're dealing with the struggles in your adult life. But the reality is that shit's so far in the past that it really should not be affecting you. Like, you should not allow yourself, not saying you're wrong for allowing yourself to feel that way, because it's natural, it's human, and you are a human being and you're allowed to feel your feelings.
But
to benefit you, to continue moving forward in a positive way, you have to acknowledge the fact that doesn't matter anymore. You can move forward. You have to move on.
So in this particular instance, you did what would be healthy in psychology, where you felt your feelings and you expressed them how you needed to feel them, and whether that was like acting out or doing whatever, like there's a range of healthy ways to handle things, but you were feeling your feelings. So it wasn't like built up, it wasn't buried underneath other feelings. You were feeling all of them, and then you restructured and redirected the energy, the emotions, and that's just good therapy, man.
Yes,
like you were able to psychologize yourself.
Yeah, and it took months. It was not like an overnight thing. With the actual feeling, and I do remember it like it was yesterday, dude. I remember screaming into the pillow, punching the pillow, and being so emotional and feeling like shit, and then realizing, why the fuck am I doing this to myself? And then from that moment on, it was a gradual increase in my mood. I wasn't feeling depressed. My energy was coming back. I wasn't feeling lethargic. My motivation to do things was getting better. Social skills were getting better. So it's just like, it's one of those things where you have to trick yourself. You have to address the situation. You have to take that mental sugar pill, and then you have to cure mentally the problems that you're dealing with, because those mental issues affect you physiologically, which comes all the way back to the whole brain is attached to the body.
So I have some very helpful knowledge that I would like to share with everybody about psychology, because that's one of my most favorite subjects, because it is so useful.
Fun fact, I almost went to college to be a psychologist.
How does that make you feel?
Well, the reason I didn't is because I didn't want to take money from people who needed help like that.
So you decided not to help nobody at all. Cool.
That's it.
Thanks.
Instead, I decided to start a podcast and talk to people for free.
Yes, sir.
With one of my best friends, and now here we are giving out this information.
So, free information. This is not disputed. This is some knowledge for the soul. So, basically, you are not your thoughts. That may sound like a very simple thing, just like duh. But a lot of people get wrapped up in these impulses where a thought will pop in, and then without even separating themselves from that thoughts, they will go down that hole of, oh, well, I had this thought that said, well, maybe I want to have a drink today. Or maybe I want to scroll on my phone all day. Like whatever bad habit or just whatever impulse it is. Or it could be a thought about like an ex and be like, oh man, I wonder what they're doing. And when you fucking know it, that you are not your thoughts. Now this is where the placebo part comes in. You are the conductor. You are the narrator. That's the best way to put it. The narrator. You narrate your story. So whenever you get the chance to control your mind and be like, I am actually feeling better. I'm going to get up and, throw this shit away. I'm going to get up and do this. And if you can narrate it in your brain, you can sort of will it into reality. And if you have something to help that placebo sort of thing, like that gaslight, what you were talking about, I think you can make monumental changes.
Absolutely, dude. And I think that's part of the positive takeaway from all of this. And before we dive into the conclusion of this whole topic of placebo, I just want to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors and hear from our socials, and then we will be right back.
Yes, sir.
Breaking news brought to you by the Based Banter Podcast. This is Based News.
Welcome to another edition of Based News, your place to find all of the news from all around the world. This week we have another story from Amazon. An Amazon package overload. A Washington family received over 100 Amazon packages meant for a local hotel in the past 6 months, resulting in their home being filled with items. Talk about getting your package shipped to the wrong address.
San Francisco woman gives birth in a Waymo self-driving taxi. I guess we're not getting to the hospital.
In other news, we have a record-breaking kisses made for the Guinness World Record. It was set by over 1,435 couples kissing under a mistletoe. That's one way to spread your love.
Michigandian 88-year-old grocery cashier overwhelmed by sudden $1.7 million gifts. Try to spend that in one place.
The last pennies sold for millions. The final U.S. cents pressed in the U.S. Mint were auctioned for $16.76 million, thus creating a new value form for the pennies. Millions of dollars if you have any in your car or in your pocket.
Professional wrestler John Cena has now officially retired. I wouldn't know because I cannot see him.
This has been Based News. Tune in next week for some more funny and fictional and real news.
Is
Is fictional real or not?
fake. Fiction is synonymous with, it's a synonym
Oh,
of
well.
fake.
They'll get it.
Cut this out in post, editor. Anyways.
All right, guys, we are back. That was your episode of Base News and some sponsor reads. Now, we've been talking a little bit about placebo and a little bit about how the mind works with your body and how, you're actually prescribed placebos from medicinal companies and how they have done tests using placebos and how placebo is a gold standard for research and how, there's products that you can buy out there that don't actually do what they're supposed to do. But rest assured, we do have a positive takeaway for you here at the Based Banter podcast, as we always like to do with our topics. If it's something that we want to talk about, rest assured we will find a way for us to all learn from it and grow from it. And personally, I think the takeaway from this is that if you are living in your own mind, or if you are dealing with some kind of mental issues, or if you're dealing with some kind of anxiety or depression, or whatever it is that you're going through mentally, you're in control of your brain. Like Jerry said earlier, you are the controller.
You are the narrator, so narrate your brain, and your brain and your thoughts will follow.
Yes, sir. So the takeaway here is, if you can gaslight yourself enough, you can overcome anything, any adversity, and you can physiologically rewire your brain and your body to match your desired outcome. You're not locked in place. You're not stuck. You're not going to be an unlucky person forever. You need to shift your brain, take that mental sugar pill, and then find that path for your desired outcome. You're not limited to who you are at this moment based off of what you want to be.
And if that doesn't work, then you did this to yourself.
Hey, there's always alcoholism.
Get good.
You can always become a degenerate, drink alcohol, and spend every single day rotting away if that's what you want to do.
But another really cool asset or facet or side or something about placebo is that there's a such thing as like an open label placebo, and that's where the patient is fully aware that the treatment is inert. So meaning like it's a fake. It doesn't do nothing.
They'll
it
tell you
has
straight
no
up.
active. And then the clinical trials have found that these placebos, these open label ones where people know exactly that, like they're sugar pills, like some of them have had positive effects in comparison to no treatments. And even if you know that you're giving yourself a placebo, there's still that chance that you just get better and you still improve, and it gets better than if you had done no treatments.
Exactly how we were just talking about with that mental aspect of it. Even if you know that you're not right and you're not well, but if you tell yourself you will be and everything will be okay, then things will be okay.
And here's the thing about that open label. So if the person dispensing that placebo shows their care towards the patients and they are friendly and sympathetic, the placebo is more effective.
Oh, shit.
So just the fact of giving care. So this is your reminder to take care of yourself and treat yourself as if you love yourself, because you know what? There's only one person you are stuck with for your entire life, and that's you. So
Yes,
like it or
sir.
love it.
Yes, sir. You know what? And if you don't have anybody in your life that you think loves you, buddy, guess what? We love you. We care about you. We want you to do good. We want you to be better. And we believe in you. I believe in every single one of you. And I know because I've done it myself. And I'm just your average Joe. And he's just your average Jerry. And we have been through this. And we are going through this. And we will continue to go through this.
Try not to laugh into the mic because that's so funny.
But that's just the way it is, man. Reach out to us and tell us how you feel. Tell us your experience with placebo. Tell us a time where you've been feeling down mentally and then you turned it around in your own way. How did you do it? What steps did you take? Reach out to us on all of our socials. You can find us at our Based Banter podcast on Instagram, where you can see all of our photos of Scully and his wondrous designs. This week's design is going to feature our very good friend and our favorite pro wrestler, John Cena. Oh, yeah, you're right. Former.
That was in the Based News. Do you not listen to the Based News?
Oh, I need to tune in.
You need to tune into the Based News, buddy.
But hey, follow on Instagram, and then you can also find us as we post our links to our Spotify and our YouTube channels, the Based Banter Podcast on Facebook. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube, Based Banter Podcast. If you have Spotify, you can find us on there as well. And again, it's Based Banter Podcast, and we have X, Based Banter Pod. Now, the Discord will come once our community grows and we can start gathering you guys in and we can start keeping the conversation going. As always, every week we will put out a new episode. So stay tuned for more topics and follow us for more polls and more discussions. And you can find us and you can always vote for another topic like this one, the placebo topic, which I enjoyed and I loved, and I can't wait to do it again. So with that being said, this has been the Based Banter Podcast. My name is Joey. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitch at ArcanoJoe. We're growing that community. We're doing everything that we can to reach affiliates. Once we're there, the sky's the limit, baby. Jerry, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. This is the only social media that I'm personally maintaining, and that will be Jerry Contrites, where I post music and funny skits that I poorly edit.
Well, you know what? I'm a follower, so you should be too. Well, guys, this has been another episode of the Based Banter Podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and as always, keep the conversation going. Peace.
Peace.